Okay, so we're going to have to switch. I apologize for that. We have a lot going on over here in Portland. We have a major snowstorm that's kind of making things a little weird. I'm going to let everybody know that we're on the new feed. My apologies. We're just getting started here. Give me a minute to get us all nice and good. Okay. All right. Y'all find me eventually, right? I'd like to think so. All right. How we doing? Looking good? Okay, so we're on the fast path. We're on the fast track now. So we should be fine now. My apologies for that. I know it's a drag. Everybody okay now? All right, apologies. We had a massive snowstorm. I think that the internet's a little slow today. So basically that was the, let's go ahead and open the floor to talk about the remote view, because that's basically in a nutshell what I took away. The problem we have is that these people, these cray-cray, thought that they were working for Donald Trump because in some cases we actually had contracts with the militia. You see this? In terms of what I think the future of the Republican Party is, I mean, I think that because it's not constitutional, it will probably have to be dismantled because it's not a constitutional. It's not a constitutional party. But it goes back also to what Steve Bannon had said, which is that democracy in America is a lot more fragile than we had thought, and now we're going to have to spend a lot of time cleaning up the mess. I do think that something's going to happen in a few days. There was a tower there, so it could be a series of arrests. Hi, Ona, good to see you. Yeah, I think Susan, the party will be dismantled. I think here's the thing about Republicans and sociopaths as a whole. They don't understand the long-term consequences of their actions. And that is to the advantage of anybody who's empathic. If you're empathic, you can sit back, particularly if you're a professional empath, you can sit with mindfulness and observe what's going on, and you can see what the inevitable conclusion is going to be. And here's the inevitable conclusion. Sane people are now in the White House, and there are multiple criminal investigations going on. And so sunlight is the great sanitizer, right? So everything's coming out. So there's going to be massive exposés for another year. So how do you think that that's going to, when all the truth comes out, do you think that's going to help those senators get reelected? I would agree with Sheila from Celtic Tarot that the more that we have the microphone, and the more we start exposing what happened, the worse and worse and worse it will be for the former president. And I think it will not bode well for the Republican Party. They made a horrible mistake by not convicting this person. If they had convicted him and taken the hit in the immediately, and then spent a year cleanup because of the exposés that are coming out, they would have done better for themselves than voting no the way that they did. Thank you, Francie. All right, so let's go ahead now. We're going to do the collective reading if people are ready to get a reading. And then after that, we'll do the blitzes. Does that sound good for everybody? All right, let's do it. I want to use a different set of tarot cards because I feel like I get stuck on the same deck, and I think we're going to use the Whimsical Tarot today, just because I love tarot cards. Oh man, there was a massive chunk of snow that just fell on the ground. It's like a big thing. All right. Is everybody ready? All right. We're going to do the empath's prayer. Yes, we're going to do the blitzes, but let's do the collective first because we're already at 11:20, so it's time to move on. All right. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community. As we call on, I'm sorry, I'm totally, I got lost in my thoughts. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, for the planet, for the people we love, but also to help those we have strife with. And together collectively, we say, Amen. Let's go in. Forgot how to say the prayer. I was like lost. I was like, how do you say the empath's prayer? This will be our Valentines reading, okay? It's a love reading for the group. Love shack, baby, love shack. Love shack, baby, love shack. I need a love shack. Where we are at right now in relation to love. Inheritance. So the love we have right now has an aspect to it that is inheritance, in the sense that it's kind of like that Beatles song, the love you take is equal to the love you make. So there's an aspect that the love we have in our life is the love that we have constructed, or the love that we have constructed through our actions, through our relationships with our family. It's what we've inherited. It's the family dynamic. Sometimes we learn some bad habits from our families as well. If we had a family that had, certain types of challenges. It's interesting. Our karma card is the Sword of Truth. Page of Swords, which is a spy card, but it's also a card of Archangel Michael, who carries the Sword of Truth. It reminds me of the author Brené Brown, who wrote The Gifts of Imperfection. The Gifts of Imperfection, in the sense that truth is associated with what genuine love is, as opposed to romantic love. Romantic love is nice, but the foundation here is about being able to speak your truth and present yourself authentically. So the combination of being able to present ourselves as our authentic self, combined with whatever our family dynamics are, is kind of where we're at right now in terms of love. The first card is the Ace of Pentacles, but the Ace of Pentacles was inverted. So that is a huge chunk of money loss. It's an extreme loss associated with Nine of Swords inverted as well. So it could be that many people in the group have had profound experiences with loss of love, disappointment in love, feelings of having been betrayed in the past. Thank you, Marie Wells. And disappointments by romantic love. What sits above us? The Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles. Again, a poverty card. A card also associated with self-examination. And what sits below us? Four of Cups, which is a desire to build new relationships of love, starting of the new foundation. What is behind us? Two of Pentacles, old alliances coming to an end. And then what sits in our future is the Eight of Cups. So the advice from Spirit is that if you're looking for love, it would be, there's a feeling of confusion here about, do we know what it is that we want out of love? Because the near future is Eight of Cups, and that can be kind of a web where we get lost in our fantasies or dreams, and then we start to expect the other person to live up to these fantasies and these illusions and these dreams. And what we are putting out is something that we have to be aware of. What are you trying to manifest? There has to be some kind of authentic aspect to finding love. I really feel that with the Three of Swords in the first house, I feel like this is also a time when people are reevaluating their friendships. Those people that have been with us through thick and thin, people that maybe we always assumed they were going to be there for us, and so we kind of took advantage of them. Maybe we took them for granted. With a Three of Swords in the seventh house, I love it. It's Hansel and Gretel lost, and they don't know where they're going. Yeah, I feel like a lot of us are just trying to figure out what we want. I think for a lot of us, there's been a challenge to find consistency in our relationships if we don't understand how to communicate in ways that are going to help us have intimate relationships. This is talking a lot about being authentic. It's talking a lot about family dynamics. It's talking a lot about being mindful. A Four of Pentacles is a card that has to do with self-awareness. The final outcome for us is Two of Cups, which is true love. So those people who are looking for love and intimacy will probably find it in the group. But there is the advice from Spirit, if you're looking for true love with these types of cards, recognize your stuff. Thank you, oil painter. Recognizing our stuff, working with our stuff, understanding our family dynamic, being honest and being authentic. Those are the things we cultivate in order to find true love. And that's basically what I saw in the reading. So if we're looking for love, or if we're looking to strengthen the relationships with those we currently love, being authentic and being willing to present ourselves in ways that are authentic, and being able to ask for what we want, being clear about who we are and what we want, that's the advice from Spirit. That's how I would interpret that. Okay, so, I like that advice because I often find when I see a guy I like, I think we all do this. Thank you, Anna Masita. Appreciate that. You always feel like you have to put on your best show. It's a show, it's a performance. And to some extent, it's kind of like dishonest because you may be presenting yourself as something that you're not. Whereas if you present yourself authentically and you just say, this is who I am, and you cultivate friendships and family and strong relationships based on authenticity, those cards seem to suggest that's how you find true love. So I thought that was great advice. All right, we're going to start the blitzes now. Gosh, there's so much going on. I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Yeah, thank you, Michelle. Good to see you, by the way. When I think of like the guy that I really want to fall madly in love with, it's somebody who sees me with no, He doesn't have any delusions about me. It's not all those dreams, because you're going to be disappointed because none of that's real. It's just a fantasy story you made up with the other person. You know, I want to go to a baseball game with a guy. Be my friend, you know, be my bud. You can have the romance. It's kind of cool when your best bud gets a little romantic with you. It's nice. You can have both. All right, so I want to see the consequences of what the Senate did. That's the first thing. I want to see what the long-term consequences are going to be from the verdict. He was convicted, by the way, 57 to 40, whatever, but unfortunately, so he did get convicted. Unfortunately, he didn't get 2/3. All right, so which cards am I going to use? I think I'll use these. We're going to see about the long-term consequences of what the Senate did. Long-term consequences of what the Senate did. They're very naive. The Republicans are very, very naive. Here's the thing that's happening, and I want to talk a little bit about this. It has to do with the fishbowl. Okay, I want you folks to imagine a fishbowl. And if you're inside of a fishbowl, the only information you're going to get back, thank you, Annie Jeans, is information that you're getting from everything inside the fishbowl. And so here's what happened to the Republican Party. And to some extent, it happens to all of us. And I think there's a lesson here in the demise of the Republican Party. And that is that if you are so intolerant of people that think about the world differently than you, you're going to find yourself in a fishbowl, an echo chamber. And that's what happened in the Republican Party. And that's what happened to Donald Trump. The only people that got to have access to Donald Trump were people that were 100% loyal. And that meant that they were going to 100% prop up his delusions. So everybody had to say to the emperor, your clothing is beautiful. It looks fantastic. You're amazing. Didn't matter if he was naked. It didn't matter if he was bumbling to himself, popping pills, completely insane. The only people that were allowed to be in the room and talk to the president were the people who said, you look fantastic. And so what happened was he and his children were surrounded by sycophants and loyalists that only told them what they wanted to hear. And so consequently, it was not only an echo chamber, but it became a cult of believers. Only the believers were allowed in the room. Only the true believers were allowed to be close to the president. And so they became completely out of touch with reality. And so when you meditate on the emotions and the feelings of somebody like, say, example, Ivanka Trump, floating around in this echo chamber, they don't have any problems with their world. They don't understand how much stress the rest of us have because they're completely lost in the delusion that they've created. And so when Donald Trump had to say goodbye and get on the airplane, it was the first time, I think, in a very long time that his children had to be faced with objective reality because they were so far gone in this echo chamber. And I think that, when you meditate on the emotions of someone like Ivanka Trump, when Donald Trump got on the airplane, she was almost hysteric. The realization that your entire life and everything that you've been subjected to is a lie. It's all a lie. None of it was real. And this, unfortunately, is going to have ripple effects in the entire Republican Party. They were fools. They lived in an echo chamber. This is the summary of the reading. And so consequently, because they're so delusional, because they're all true believers that the emperor has that the emperor has great clothes, that everything's great, 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 and they're surrounded with other people who are completely delusional. You can see the card associated, complete delusion, the karma card. So when we're looking at the senators, we're looking at the Republicans, they voted the way they did, and they behaved the way they did because they're completely out of touch with reality, because of this is how cults work. This is how they operate. They isolate you from anyone that's critical of the cult, and then you surround yourself with other people that have the same echo chamber. When you follow the energy about who's propping it up, you find it's mostly evangelical white Southern churches. And that is also a type of cult, in the sense that little children, little white boys and little white girls that grow up in this cult, which is similar to Wahhabi, are told that the world revolves around them, that they are the great hope of the world, that the world was created for them, that by virtue of being who they are superior, and that women must submit to them, and that they have to tame the earth and dominate it. And so you can imagine if you walk out of a cult like that and you join the real world and you try to get a job and you assume you're going to be hired because your church told you the world revolved around you. And then you apply for a computer job or something like that, and you never really worked that hard because you were guaranteed a job because your church told you you were the chosen one. And then you go to Microsoft or someplace like that, and somebody who grew up in a rice field being told that they had to work like a dog to get ahead has just taken your job. Of course, you're going to blame foreigners. You're not going to blame your church for the fact that you weren't prepared to compete within the international market. No, the fault is the foreigner. So we have to block immigration because they're making us look bad. And so we have to keep this delusion, this fantasy, this fishbowl going that we're superior, we're superior. The white man is superior. This is the fragility that they talk, that I apologize, I can't remember the author's name. I should quickly look it up so that I can reference it. This is what her thesis was in the book, White Fragility. Go ahead. White fragility. Why it's so hard for white people to talk about racism. Robin DiAngelo. Robin DiAngelo. So you take someone that grew up surrounded by everybody else in the church, and then they go out and say, hey, that's not real. And the person just collapses. They can't handle it. They're not able to function. They're not able to compete internationally against a culture of people that maybe were raised differently. They were raised that nothing is guaranteed. You get up at 5 a.m. and you plant rice. And if you're lucky, a third of your crop survives. And if you want anything out of life, you'd better wake up at 5. When I was pre-med, I was pre-med at the University of Washington. And when I got a dorm room, actually I rented off campus, it was a room full of people that were doctors in public health that had come in from China. And Bill Clinton, President Clinton, they were inviting foreign people to get public health training. So these were the future doctors of Vietnam. These were the future doctors of China, et cetera, in education exchange. And I don't think I would have gotten to medical school if I had not just happened to have rented in that house with those students, because what I learned from them was that they got up at 5 a.m. and they did their Tai Chi and exercise. Then they had rice gruel. They would boil it, like 1 cup of rice to 7 cups of water. And they would have that for breakfast and maybe some fried pork and veggies. And then they would work. They would work and they would work and they would work for several hours before going to class, which often would start at like 8, 9 in the morning. and then they would come back and they would eat a collective meal together to save money, which was rice, vegetables, and pork usually. And then they would work and work and work and work and work and work. And then the next day they would do it again. So that's our competition. And that's the delusion that I think the Republican Party is not ready for. You can see here the Queen of Swords putting the past behind them. They want to put the Republican GOP wants. This is being trivialized. Okay, I want to. Sorry, I misspelled that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pin this so that everybody can see what we're talking about. We're talking about the future of the Republicans who voted for this wackadoodle. All right. So they want to put the past behind them. Their first house is the Queen of Swords. What crosses them? They're looking at the money. They just want to make the money. How do we get back to the money? Business, business, business. They really are in a fishbowl, surrounded by other Republicans, surrounded by other people who grew up in that church. They don't get it because of how they've been indoctrinated. What is above them? A new beginning, a new romance, right? A new beginning comes to them. What sits below them? Judgment. On some level, they know that this isn't over. What sits in their past? The money. The money was held. Mitch McConnell was told by their donors if they didn't do something publicly to renounce Trump's actions, it was going to have a negative impact on donors to the GOP. So to make everybody happy, they said not guilty, but then at the same time, they had to say something condemning so they could keep getting their money. They're now entering into a state of poverty. I don't see all their donors coming back, and I'll tell you why I don't see their donors coming back. I don't see their donors coming back because I don't think that they understand the uproar or the direction this country is going in the next couple of years. These are fast changes, and this is where they're at. They may also feel to some extent that they betrayed by one another. So this is now a feeling that they're not feeling totally good about themselves. This is also a card that has to do with feelings of betrayal. The Democrats are their opposition, and so I see them in the 8th house with the 3 of Wands. We're trying to build new relationships outside the U.S. Well, thank you, J.A. Stapler. I appreciate that donation. The hope and the fear for the Republican Party, more information coming out. The final outcome, comfortable in the garden. I'll do a clarification because that's a positive card usually. They're going to have to come over to our side. 10 of Wands. I think they're going to go to our side a little bit. But I think a lot of people are not going to get reelected because I really think that they underestimated the uproar, not just the international uproar from the film footage, but the American people. I don't think it's set in yet. Give it a week or two. And I really do think it's going to hurt the Republicans. Hi, Fillerin. Mitt Romney, hi, Fillerin. Mitt Romney is a member of a different church, which also believes that the white man is the ruler, it's part of the natural order. That's how he was raised, and that they hold the priesthood and women are to submit. which is always strange for me as a Jewish woman because that's not Jewish culture. We don't believe that. You know, we believe men and women are, well, we believe women are probably superior, actually. Hi, Jazzy Sophie. Hello to you as well. Thank you, Wandering Eyes. So that's the Senate, man. It's an echo chamber. I mean, that's so profound to think about. Like, do we all do that? Do we do it on the Oracle of Whimsy? You know, how often we just surround ourselves. Oh, thank you, Bugs Bunny. I think so. Yes, a partial. Yes. So let's see. So we want to know if Trump is going to be prosecuted for his crimes. So is that the next question? I think that is a great thing to check on. Also, I'd like to find out what crimes he's under investigation for. Let's check. If you have a question, ask one of the moderators. If the moderator can post it for me, like just to get my attention, because I can't do all of this at once. But if it's an important question, maybe one of the moderators can restate it. But let's just check on Donald Trump's future. If he's going to be convicted. All right. He's feeling strong and confident since he was acquitted. He feels like he's headed towards smoother waters. Everything looks great, strong, because he feels that he did a lot of favors for a lot of powerful people. And hey, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. He's feeling like he's the leader, that he still has a portion of the Republican Party in his back pocket. What's crossing him? His crossing is the Constitution, the law, the ethos. What sits above him? There's a change in his circumstances coming. What sits below him? Concerns about money, concern about job offers. What sits in his past? The Queen of Swords, putting the past behind him, moving on. He's defending himself against multiple allegations. You can see a 7 of Wands moving into the near future. He's hanging something up in relationship to a new beginning, his hope and his fear, poverty, and then his final outcome, a judgment is coming. A judgment's coming in the next few days. I think so, because he has a 7 of Wands in his near future, and a judgment is the final outcome. And then yeah, he's having to defend. He's going to have to defend himself against multiple allegations. I think so. I think something's going down in a couple of days. All right. When will the AG make her move from New York? Let's check and see what's going on with the AG of New York. AG. Thank you, Terry. Ron online. Yeah, those are kind of your personal beliefs, Ron, but God bless you. Okay. What's going on with Letitia James? It's going to be 2.5 months before we get new people situated in New York. It's going to take another couple of months to get new attorneys in. Can you believe this? Okay, let's take a look. Oops. Happy Valentine's Day to you. Something's going down in New York. You can see the devil card here and then movement. So yes, something is going down. Charges out of New York. Look at that. There's more than one case. This is the New York charges are starting to look like playing with money. Look at that Two of Pentacles. There's some investigation out of New York that it has to do with money moving around. Yeah, Temperance. What is above? Healing, an offer regarding what? Yeah, she's, Two of Swords in her third house. She's not playing. Yeah, they're going into court. Five of Wands to exchange of ideas. They've really tried to control Letitia James. Look at this. Just horrible people. Just horrible people. It's very possible that we could see some charges coming out of the New York AG in about a month. It's looking like some movement within about a month. It looks like they're also trying to suppress her a lot, and it's exhausting. Just disgusting. It's just amazing to me. It's amoral. The more powerful you become, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to have any morals because you've got power. Okay, so people want to know, all right, I'm trying to get that pinned. All right, so we're going to be looking at Stephen Mnuchin next. What's going on with Stephen Mnuchin? Fun, fun, fun. Stephen Mnuchin's future. Uh-oh, making deals, romance. Where he's at right now, he's working in world. He's stressed out about world connections, world finance. Also defending against multiple allegations. I think the feds are talking to him about something. You can see a 4 cups in his 7th house. Somebody has a strong case against, I think they're building a case against him. Hopes and fears that he'll be able to get out of this. And the final outcome for him, he's being questioned about the movement of money. Again, this is a card I associate with jugglers, con artists. The clarification, he put himself in a bad situation. Look at this. He was involved with the wrong person. The hope and the fear that he will be victorious. The final outcome for him, he could face legal charges. This could be a raid or even the police or some kind of police action. He's in trouble. His cards are even worse than Donald Trump's, if that's possible. I don't know why, but they are. They're very bad. I don't know all of what he did, but this is someone who may have skirted the law when they were at their job and potentially, maybe they did something that was a little half illegal, or they were pressured by their boss. His cards are not good at all. So not good, not good, not good, not good. What all did he do? I don't know much about this. Why would he be in trouble with the police? There was like 7 of wands, which can be multiple charges. And then, he had awful cards. His cards were terrible. Yeah. Justice is coming for him. Oh, he manipulated. Well, that makes sense because he got the 2 of Pentacles, which is, that's a juggler's card, a coin juggler. It doesn't surprise me that he got that card. So. Okay, Michelle Taylor is asking a kind of interesting question here. She says, who was the Proud Boy who visited Trump a week before insurrection, and what they said and who was involved? I don't know if I'm that good, but let's find out about the meeting with the Proud Boys. Evidently, you can meet with fascists to overthrow the federal government, kill a few people, and it's no big deal. You can just go play golf if you've got the power. That seems to be what America's about now. All right, the Proud Boys. See, this goes back to what I had said in the remote. What we're finding when we do these investigations is that these people were on the payroll. You see how complicated this is getting? How can you charge me when you're paying me? You see the mess we're in? You're going to arrest me for attempted murder or whatever when you paid me money and my group to patrol this area. We're on the payroll. And Bannon's on the payroll. So what do you do with them? Now you're going to charge them? So you have to come up with something to charge them that has nothing to do with the work that they did for you when you were paying them. That's the mess we're in. Yeah, they entered into a relationship. The Proud Boys with the president. You can see a 10 of Cups here, Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is like cojones. It's strong male energy. Yeah, they have an alliance. Look at that. They entered into an alliance. They entered into a relationship. I think some money might have been exchanged. There's something about money. If the feds are paying, you see what we have a pickle. We have to clean up a pickle. Something about money exchange that has me concerned. This cost money. This type of operation requires money. Money for buses, money for weapons, money for training. If you go into the remote view with the Oath Keepers and any of the other groups that were involved, energetically, they kept talking about squads. They were organized in squads. This squad didn't show up. The second squad was supposed to show up and detonate the weapons, which was supposed to create a distraction. And then when everybody was over there, we were going to go. I mean, it was going to be so much better, and it would have been better in their minds, better, right, if we had had our second squad show up. They keep talking about the squad that abandoned them, the traitors that abandoned them. And complete loyalty. These are military people. They're not going to cooperate with any investigation. These people know how to give rank and serial number and nothing else. But look at this in relationship to the president. I'm telling you, these guys got money. This is like the problem. The problem is who does Homeland Security, all these other federal agencies, if they're giving money to informants or they secretly have some kind of financial deal, or if we're giving weapons or military training to militias in the southern border, the partnerships, the clarification. They're completely confused because, again, the president ordered it. The president was paying them, right? They were getting money for these types of operations. It's going to be shown that they received financial support from the administration in order to carry out the actions. That's the situation we find ourselves in. So we'll go ahead and open it up to the floor. Let's talk about that. What do y'all think about the fact that your federal dollars in this investigation, it'll be shown that our federal dollars went to fund these groups, including Bannon's disinformation campaign, because we used those campaigns when attacking foreign governments, etc. So we hire these people too. And also Republican politicians, people who are, they hire disinformation groups to improve their reputations. And you're paying for all of it. So that's why we have to keep it under wraps. That's why nobody's being charged. That's why Americans are frustrated. Why aren't they being charged? Why? That's the answer. Because under Trump's administration, they worked for us. They had contracts. They were paid. They were given training. Make you feel good? Makes me not feel too good. So we have to think about that. President Biden talked about transparency. So that has to be, in a way, in a way, you could argue that the Proud Boys have a point. You're arresting me now when I met with the President of the United States and we planned this and I can show pay stubs. That's what we're going to have to deal with. All right, we're going to check now to see about Merrick Garland. For people that have to take off, I totally get it because we have done about an hour. Before you leave, if you could share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification, I would totally appreciate that. So that you can be notified about all future videos. So we'll take a minute now for anybody that needs to take off. If you need to use the restroom, let's talk for a few minutes. And then after we talk for a few minutes, we're going to go ahead and do some more blitzes. We'll do a little bit of an after hours show now. Everybody having fun? Everybody have a nice brunch? Sundays when I've gotten into slow food. Slow food. It's where you take your time cooking something. Oh, Meghan and Harry are expecting a second baby. Yes, I'm glad. I think it might be another boy. They're lovely. Yeah, we saw that coming, right? The next baby. Mazel tov. Yeah. Yeah. We saw that. Might be another boy. Yeah. Mazel tov to Meghan and Harry. All the racist tarot readers. Oh, it's gonna be boy, are they miserable right about now. She's a lovely woman. I used to live in LA. Oh, I have a story about but while everyone's using the restroom, I got a story about Harry and Meghan. Y'all want to hear a story about my connection to Harry and Meghan, which is like no connection at all, but it's a cute story. So the night before the wedding, thank you, Joy Lowry. That's very kind. So the night before the wedding, I think was my assistant's birthday, if I'm not mistaken. Chuck Dransfield, the artist, is actually also my assistant. He's a naturopathic doctor's assistant. But anyway, he was having a birthday. Whoa, do you see those big chunks of snow falling? Ooh, that's scary. He was having his birthday. And Tawny and I decided to take him out for his birthday dinner. And so we went to a place in West Hollywood that was a steakhouse in West Hollywood. It was like and it wasn't just any steakhouse. They had one of those bulls. You can get on the bull and ride the bull. There's no way with my back I would ever do that. But anyway, we showed up. And when we got there, there was a huge party for Harry and Meghan, and it was the sorority sisters of Meghan. It was her I don't know if they were her sorority sisters from college or her sorority sisters from high school, but they decided to have a party for her. And they had this massive cake, this congratulations, Harry and Meghan wedding cake, and all the women were dressed in gowns, and all the men were dressed in ties. And they had a engagement party at the restaurant. All of her friends that had gone to school with her. So we had a very nice dinner, and we were wishing them congratulations. And they were like, "Yeah, we went to school with her," and we were chatting with them because everybody was chatting with them. And then they sent us cake. At the end of our meal, the waiter came and started handing us slices of cake, because they had sliced the wedding cake and shared it with everybody at the restaurant. So I thought that was kind of neat, but it was such a good feeling in the restaurant. Everyone was happy for her. And so that's my connection, no connection to Harry and Meghan. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you very much. All right. So the next question we're going to be looking at has to do with the future of Merrick Garland. Bull riding, yes. And some of her sorority sisters got on the bull in their nightgowns. And they had little tiaras on, and they're like, "Go, Meghan, we love you, Meghan." And they were falling off. It was great. I was like, no, I'm not getting on that bull. They were really nice women. And they weren't just nice ladies. That you could tell they were raised right. I mean, these were like the type of ladies that RBG would be proud of. They were ladies, but they were smart, strong ladies. It was just awesome. It was an awesome energy. So in a way, I got to be at her engagement party, right? I mean, there are just people in this world that can't be happy for other people. They can't be happy for good people. When good people fall in love and build beautiful lives together, and they're just some people, they're so angry and miserable because of whatever is happening in their own lives. They just look for victims. And unfortunately, that's what's happened to Meghan and Harry. That's what I think. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's awfully kind of you. Everything's going to be fine with Merrick Garland. You can see the Magician coming in, the Power card, and then the Sun. So he comes in, and it's quite a good, positive, strong energy. There he is, AG. First house. What crosses him? He gets his wish. So he gets in pretty easily. What is above him? Loads of information coming out. So when he shows up, actually, future AG, they know who he is. They're going to do what he asks. With that kind of, right, they wouldn't let him get through. But Mitch McConnell's power has waned, and his future now is victory. He will have a very successful career as Attorney General with these types of cards. Where he's at right now, complete confusion regarding what just happened. So he's baffled by the proceedings that happened, the hope and fear, the new partnership, the new job, the final outcome, 2 of Pentacles, juggling coin in relationship to what? New beginnings. So there was a little bit of, there's going to be a little bit of confusion in the start, some things that have to be ironed out in terms of this new job for Merrick Garland, but he gets in, I think, fairly easy. The truth of the matter is people are happy to have him there, and it looks like a lot of people in AG are cooperating with him with those types of cards. Okay, so I think, do I have one more real fast? Did we have another question? I can do one more before we close. I know Megan is pregnant. Okay. Yeah, Merrick Garland looks like he gets in. All right, so I'm going to do one more throw, and it's going to be on Dejoy. And if he's going to keep his job, which I seriously doubt, but I would like to see about the future of Dejoy, and then we'll go ahead and call it a day. If you haven't done so yet, be sure and share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification. All right. Le future of Dejoy. Future of Dejoy. Dejoy. The relationship. Look at that. This guy always comes as a little bit bonkers. I think look at this, his 4th house. He's got an emperor coming in. He's got the new president coming in. He's probably going to be asked to resign. Yeah. He's just going to be asked to resign. He'll probably resign. I don't know if it's necessarily something about firing. It's really more about confronting him about, I don't know if I would call it a charging him with a crime or anything like that. It's more that he was fired due to incompetence based on this. He's going to be asked to resign due to incompetence. It's more, this looks to me more like a work review, because the final outcome, like a high priestess, would suggest that they go over the data, they find out information, they ask him about it, and then he is asked to leave. He is basically told that he has to resign. That's probably how it will happen with Dejoy. All right, everyone. The roof, the snow is coming down sliding off the roof. It's quite dramatic. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I had a really great time. I hope you did too. And if you're still trying to get in for readings, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com. And I appreciate the support. And I guess I'll see you all next time. And hello to Noreen. Say hi to Noreen. She's in the UK. Thank you as well. It was fun hanging with everybody. Off to go make my green smoothie. Yes. All right. Bye, everyone. Peace out.